No,
Thank you.
Natalie's handling this out. She's going to kind of go through it. But basically, Lamplighter is requesting that we close a public right-of-way within the Lamplighter Village neighborhood, which is, of course, inside number 6. It is currently an unbuilt road.
Yeah, we have a work session that we're having right now. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
And so I'm going to let Natalie kind of walk you through what they're requesting specifically.
Okay.
But it is a dedicated right-of-way, public right-of-way that they're asking the village to abandon.
And when they say abandon, what do they mean?
They mean give it up and let them have it. When I say them have it, I mean the Lamplighter Homeowners
The homeowners
Association.
Usually it
Association.
happens the other way around. They want us to take care of it.
This is
When you
the
see the
reverse.
location, you'll probably understand
Okay.
why their request is coming.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, thank you, Jeff, for introducing the topic. This is the plat that was sent to me by the Homeowners Association representative. And you can see here circled at the bottom is the area in question. This is the right-of-way that was dedicated when Lamplighter was subdivided and developed, and this is the final recorded plat for that development. What you have in front of you is a map to kind of put it in proportion to other development to help you see that. And so what you have on your screen here, the arrow is pointing at the area in question that Lamplighter Village is requesting the village abandon. They did communicate to me that their intent was to retain that as open space. And if you look at the aerial, it is currently open space. It still has trees on it as such. This is the edge of our corporate limits. The green is obviously zoned multifamily, and this is to the east of that in Southern Pines' jurisdiction, zoned RS3. And you can see here that when this area was developed, at that time, back in 2002, 2003, the discussions with that developer were that the village thought at that time it was appropriate to have access to that development from the other side. So that is the request. I've reviewed the request with Alex. He and I both think that it's probably not in the village's best interest at this time to abandon that right-of-way. There is some pending development in this area, and think that it might just be worth waiting a little while to see what happens. It's not developed, it's not harming anyone at this time, and so that's kind of our general thoughts.
So the pending development might want to hook up to this right-of-way and have access to number 6?
They could, or they could ask for, or they could obtain that access some other way. I do not know what the developer's plans are. I do not know how far along they are. I do know that I spoke with Reagan Parsons last week, and he wasn't aware of any recent developments that have been brought to his attention. So,
Is there anybody here from the Homeowners Association?
not.
So what's their intent with regard to this request? Do you have any perspective on that?
I was told that they are making this request because they would like to use it as open space. And it would be retained and owned by the homeowners association collectively, as opposed to an individual property owner.
Now, did you say this has already gone to the planning board? No.
No,
No,
it
it's
hasn't,
just-
and it wouldn't. It only would
Your
come here
choice,
to
but
council.
we just wanted to, as far as you guys have a chance to talk about it and provide us some direction as to whether you would want to do that, because there's steps we would have to take if
Right.
you wanted to abandon it. Presumably, the development rumor mill or whatever, for this property adjacent to it probably has spurred them to take a preemptive measure to ensure that there
Exactly.
is no connectivity.
Sounds like to me.
However, I would agree with Natalie and Alex. You don't know what may happen. This property is in Southern Pines jurisdiction currently, but it doesn't mean that might not at some point in time be in Pinehurst. We're getting ready to take some property that's in Southern Pines, and they're going to give it to Pinehurst. I mean, it's not hurting anything where it is right now, and the only way they could connect to it is if this body were ultimately to approve it. So we still have complete control over whether it's ever built or not. We maintain that control regardless of what happens on the Southern Pines side.
Correct.
So
You have any insight, John Baldry?
So here's my perspective on this. My perspective on this is I would say we need to be very careful and cautious about what we're doing here, because all along there was the prospect of a very large development going in on the other side of Lamplighter Village. And we've heard in the past about possible cut-throughs, some of which are on 55 and on 55 Juniper Creek Boulevard. There's another cut that's inside the Lamplighter Village. And then the third possibility is on the, I guess, the north side of Lamplighter Village on a small road. I don't know enough about this, but I'm very suspect and I'm very cautious. So I would, I know what the, I would think that the number 6 residents would say is they would be very cautious about doing something where in the future there could be a cut-through from a large development that would end up coming out on Juniper Creek Boulevard, which would very much change the character of Pinehurst number 6.
Yeah, and I'm also reluctant to take any action without hearing directly from the homeowners association.
Right, and the intent was for me just to preview this information to you today to see
Well,
if
it's a
you.
work session.
Yeah, as a
Thank
work
you.
session,
That's
just
right.
for you to have a chance to talk
Okay.
about it, raise any questions that.
action.
Yeah, no action, any questions that
Okay.
you have, and then if you'd like to entertain this request, then I can schedule it on a regular meeting and have the.
I think I would like to have more information about the what-ifs.
The what-ifs?
Yes,
Okay.
so if an action is taken, what might a developer do?
What are the ramifications, yeah?
Exactly, Judy, exactly.
And maybe invite the homeowners association to another work session. I'm not
Correct.
sure it's ready for prime time. Yeah.
Where I want to talk about the flow chart. It sounds logical to me, even though it skips over plan and zoning, that it should go through plan and zoning. It sounds logical.
Yeah, and I'll lean to Jeff on this. I mean, it's dedicated right away. It's a public street. So if it were to be constructed, we would be the ones building it. So we would have that control. Is that not correct, Jeff?
yeah,
We
we
would-
have complete control
You have
over
complete
it.
control over
And-
it. We can or cannot, we can
If
leave
that's
it the
why-
way
If we
it is right
abandon
now.
it, we have no control
And
over
as
it.
Nancy said, it's usually going the other way.
Right.
So- And we
Right.
deal with
Lo-
those
The
versus
village
P&C.
loses its, the village loses control if we close it.
Right.
We no longer have ownership of it, and we don't have control.
But that may be exactly what the homeowners
I
association
am
wants.
sure that's exactly, well, I don't say
That's
I'm
what
sure.
they
I
want.
suspect
Trying to
that's
lock
what
it
they
up.
want, is to make
Yeah.
sure there's not a cut-through, and I can understand that, certainly. But we don't know what's going to develop on the other side of that line. We don't know if that line is potentially going to move, and there'll be something different in terms of it, some of that property ultimately being within the village limits. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but all I can say is if we don't own it, we have no control over it. If we do own it, we have complete control over it, and it would seem that that would be in our best interest long-term
To
for us to
retain.
maintain that control,
Well, I think
barring hearing from the HOA representatives.
I think what, to piggyback on what you just said, Jeff, I think it would be in the best interest of the residents, not only, but the larger village, but also for the residents in that particular area. The last time I thought we were hearing something about the development was that there would be an access off this large development onto Airport Road, and because of the Moore County Comprehensive Transportation Plan on NC 22, there could be the alternate, instead of coming through number 6, it could be a road access out to Highway 22. But that was some time ago that was discussed.
So is the consensus that we would like someone from the HOA at Lamplighter Village to come and discuss the reason for wanting this?
And I think along with our planning department to help us understand the ramifications of this.
What ifs and ramifications?
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good.
And I don't understand why they can't enjoy it as an open space even though we own it. You know,
They can.
You know, I
Yeah,
guess,
they can.
so if they're saying they want to use it as an open space, they can enjoy it as
Could we
a,
give them an easement, Jeff?
yeah.
Sure, we could do,
Oh.
I mean,
I mean, that
We
might
could.
be the best solution. In other words, they,
Right.
for,
There's no road there now, right?
that is correct. There is nothing there, just trees.
Trees.
because, you know, we might need to have control of it, but I don't know why they can't use it as green space. So I hope there's a way to get that type of solution, that is a hybrid, in there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, any other comments about this one?
Option.
Okay, then we'll have somebody from Lamplighter Village give us a little more insight. And is there any other work session business?
Nothing except,
Leo just said HOA. Well, Pinehurst number 6 HOA is just you're just an association. Lamplighter Village, they actually have, don't they actually have a, what's the other hybrid?
Well, they're classified as a condominium development.
So
So
they have-
it's not a voluntary, it's
It's
a
mandatory,
mandatory,
yeah.
it's a requirement to be a part of the association,
Yeah.
whereas the
But,
number
you know,
6 HOA
certainly,
is voluntary.
certainly number 6 could weigh in on it too.
Certainly.
Because the whole issue is connecting through this big development. And there was a rumor now I think it's been years ago, about a commercial development on one side and a residential development, I think was on our side. And at first blush, I thought, wow, that's great. Number 6 people get another way to get out of number 6. Then I thought, oh, a lot of people have another way to get into number 6 and avoid the traffic circle and create a lot of traffic inside of residential area. So we probably need to hear from both of those folks. Thank you, Leo. Okay, any other work session business?
No, ma'am.
It's not even 5:30. What are we going to do? Okay, we'll find something.
I thought, you know, just, you know, some of what Kay said, I thought we kind of agreed to slow down on that square footage thing. It's just internally, I don't agree with like everything she said, but I think we internally already agreed that we don't have to move that quickly on that. And so
Well, we
Square
don't,
footage,
but the way I look at it, Kevin, if there isn't a market for a 720 square foot apartment, someone will get caught with their pants down.
no, I agree. I don't
If you
agree
wanna
like.
build a
I
700
don't agree with all the statements. I was just trying to say there was discussion internally of, we don't have to rush this, you know, we're not trying to rush it at all. I think that's
Speaking
all I
of
wanted to tell
rushing-
Kay. I thought it was consistent.
How long have you all been working on this one, Leo?
Yeah.
How long have you been working on the minimum square footage?
Since I was on it,
Year and a half.
I was on it when we started. So, but
So, well, and your recommendation was going to be coming to us? Mhm. Okay, the recommendation was going to be coming to us. Well, we shall see. Again, if there's no market for something, nobody's going to
Right, I
rent
agree.
it. So, you know, people who study the market probably know a little more than we know. We just don't want any little tiny apartments. I mean, that's kind of the way people are opting for less living space to have more disposable income to travel, to do this and that. And that's happening here. It's happening all over the country. So who knows?
Quality is what we're looking for.
That's true.
all.
That's true. And you couldn't really have an apartment building with all 740 square foot apartments. They would be maybe 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. So that's how I feel. But we don't have to talk about that tonight. Anything else for our work session? Okay, if not, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the work session.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.